The question basically is there a link between depression and societal pressure? What do you guys think? I personally think that yes, there is a link between depression and societal pressure. Generally speaking, of course, if there is a lot of societal pressure and there are people who are not very strong-willed to handle that kind of pressure, sooner or later they will fall into depression. They will have these feelings of sadness, loss, anger, everything that's associated with the mental illness. So that's my opinion. What do you think?
I also think that society in a whole has become a dictator. As in, it's a society that sets standards, for people to follow. Instead of people realizing their own strengths and capabilities and functioning accordingly. Secondly, we're all different. How you might handle an issue is different from how person B might handle an issue. You understand? So when society comes into play, saying that you must marry at age so and so, or by a certain age you must finish school and leave your parents' home, get your own apartment, buy a car, do this, do that, then if you're not so strong up here, it would affect you. I know some people will say that, everybody is supposed to grow a tough skin, this, that, blah, 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 but we're all different. So I think, they are linked.
Also, I'll say that societal pressure leads to depression. It may not necessarily be the cause of depression, but it may, as in a lot of pressure from society will affect your physical, your emotional, and your psychological well-being. And the fact that it's from the society and they are giving you pressure, you may think, oh, it's because the society is saying this. And you may not necessarily know that you are going through depression because of the pressure you are getting from the society. Though depression is said that there's no cause for depression at the moment. They've assumed that it can be genetic, it can be psychological and all that. But a lot of societal pressure will push somebody into depression easily.
But then at the end of the day, aren't you also part of the society?
Yes, but
so can't you also say that maybe you also have been putting pressure on a particular person, maybe even your sibling? Or
no, people even put pressure on themselves, they will say it's the society because I don't know, but then you look at people. For example, let me use LinkedIn as an example. When you go to LinkedIn, everybody is posting their achievements.
The way I don't like LinkedIn,
everybody is posting their achievements. Then they'll even attach their ages to it. I bought this at this age, and so at that point, it's not like somebody is telling you to do this, but because you feel like, hey, this did this at this, look at me now, and you yourself will end up building up that kind of pressure for yourself, and eventually you would end up falling into depression because maybe you've built a certain pressure for yourself. Now, I need to acquire this dream job, I need to get this dream car, you're not getting it, and then it starts affecting you physically. So the least provocation, you're angry when you go to work and somebody's, oh, leave there, look, this is not the kind of work I want to do. And then it starts building up gradually. Then at a point, everybody draws away from you because anytime they try to approach you and it becomes emotional and psychological. Why these people don't like me again? Then eventually it affects your whole well-being.
I would like to chip in that sometimes I would like to just take out men from this issue of depression and say that with men, the main cause of our depression is just societal pressure. With men, like to be particular. Now, men have been ascribed in such a way that you have to take up everything. You have to do more than most of your peers, or you have to be at a level with your peers. Let's say, for instance, you have friends, right, in the university. You are in school with them, but after school, some of them achieve certain things. And then, if your parents even know those your friends, there would be a point where there will be a sharp comparison. They won't mince words and say, hey, now him say, we cry. No. She will say, you are here.
It's the mother.
It's the mothers who do that. Sometimes fathers understand and then do, but then tell you are here. You're asking me today, what will you eat? Go and look at Andrew.
The name is so specific.
Andrew has rented an apartment for his mother, and you are here. Nonsense, boy. That one itself is one. That is one. And then you come to, if you are into relationships, you come to, if you have maybe a lady who doesn't know how to speak to you properly. That also, but here you can't vent if you are a man. That's one problem with Africa. You cannot vent. You can't actually express your feelings. Like we say, "Bear soup," for instance. They say a man shouldn't cry. You shouldn't cry. But sometimes I end up.
Yeah, and most men undergo depression more than women. Men are emotional.
Is that statistically bad?
Cut you. And sometimes I will go through something and I want to cry. I can tell the person next to me that I feel like I have to cry, but the crying is not coming. Yeah, I don't know the science about crying, but I feel like it's a way to help you release some emotional,
If you can't cry,
something
just
that has
shout.
built up inside you.
Actually, you're okay
But
to
sometimes
cry.
you want to cry. As a man, I want to cry, but it's not coming.
When you're stressed
Because-
out and you want to cry,
Sally-
you don't know how to cry. Just shout.
You can't do it in the house. No, you are depressed at home. You want to shout. Your mother is there. That one self go increase the depression you feel before you shout. You understand?
Very deep. I can even say that it goes from being just a mental thing to a heart thing, not physically, but like kind of, because in your mind, you know that I'm supposed to be happy. In your mind, you know that, look, this guy loves me. These people care about me. These people check up on me. I have a good life, because it's not only poverty that causes depression. I have a good life. I'm supposed to be happy, but then you're not happy. But then you're feeling down all the time. You're feeling angry. You're feeling anxious.
Like those who checking out social media, postings. You check some posts on social media and you feel like you are letting yourself down. You
Yeah,
understand?
and-
But those things most of them are faked. You
And
understand?
you talked about men, women, so we experience the same thing in terms of.
Oh, I said this for you.
standards.
I said the social media stuff is for you.
So
And
You
again,
understand?
depression is not only about you feeling down, you not having something. There are some people that, let's say, I've been dreaming to work with Ghana Tech Lab. Then all of a sudden they call me, Eunice, maybe come for your appointment later or something. And that thing, psychologically, some people just break down and they go into depression. It's weird, but then there are people, when they hear of good news, it's a good news, maybe you have to work with who, and all of a sudden they have to change environment, so they are leaving Ghana and they have to go to America. Then all of a sudden they realize that, oh, I don't know anybody in America. I learned it in America, when you're working police will shoot you and all
that is
that.
probably
Then-
imposter syndrome. Because that's because
what?
imposter syndrome.
Okay.
When you achieve something and you be like,
You don't deserve
you don't
it.
deserve it.
Yes.
Like, it's not for you.
Yeah, and it puts
Something like
people
that.
into depression because for unknown reason. That's why they say depression is more of psychological. This thing is not supposed to put you into depression, but for some people, it will just push them into
the mistake
depression.
many people make is when they see, if it's a rich person says he or she is depressed, they be like, you have everything, you have your car, you have this, you have that. Look at me, me that I've not eaten since morning. That's a mistake, because I don't think there are external factors that can cause depression, right?
yeah.
But sometimes, I don't know,
It's
partly
just psychological,
in
genetic,
It varies from
honestly.
person to
person.
person.
Yeah.
Everybody has that particular thing that gets to them.
That's what
that
happened.
triggers them.
Yeah, and we shouldn't confuse ourselves that you being in a sad mood is not necessarily about depression. You have to go through a phase of certain signs and symptoms for a minimum of 2 weeks and above. Then we can say, okay,
Some people make that mistake. They'll be sad for a period of time and they'll be like, man, I was depressed.
Depressed, yes.
I
They say
was-
that for a lot of mental illnesses. OCD to the same thing. Oh,
Like-
I'm very clean.
and-
You have OCD.
Right?
Seriously?
So, like, that's why I was saying the other time that sometimes you have to be diagnosed that you are clinically depressed. Some people, you can't self-diagnose. You can't just tell yourself, you know what, I'm depressed, because you are sad for a very
All
long
what
time.
we've said, and because meaning that most of this issue of these issues of depression are mainly, they are very personal. It's based on your perception about yourself.
Yes.
And the things around you.
Yeah, most-
But I feel like every human being at a point, you have to speak or you have to talk about something that is eating you up. You understand? And over here, to somebody.
You can even be talking to yourself.
You understand? And
When you
sometimes,
speak out, it helps.
yeah.
You have to have somebody that you are comfortable communicating with. But it is not everybody has it. Think about the fact that even our parents that are our first point of contact, some of them are not so welcoming when it comes to like one-on-one discussions and stuff. With some fathers, the only time they go to their dad is when they want school fees, when they want money. Like these demands, when they have demands, that's the only time that they have the liberty to go to your parents. You understand? So if you are not even being able to go to the person that birthed you to have a certain conversation, then who do you go to, like he asked?
Because depression hasn't been given, for the lack of a better phrase, the recognition that it deserves in Africa. Because in Africa, you go and tell your parents or someone who is leading you that you are feeling depressed or something.
They'll organize a prayer section for you, right?
It does. They'll tell you what are you thinking about. They'll say, what are you thinking about that you're depressed? I'm the one providing food, I'm the one providing everything. What are you
Exactly. What do you
depressed
do?
for?
You just wake up and you sleep, and
They will finish
they
you
will even
there.
give you instances and say, look at Kwejo. I give you this, I give you that. Kwejo doesn't have A, B, C, D. So what rights do you have to be depressed?
I have an example.
Talk to
Let me
us.
just use myself
Let's
as the
go
example. I don't even know if I should call this depression or sadness. Okay, so I haven't been very, very lucky with relationships, as in, yeah.
Oh.
So then, so I start from somewhere, then it gets to a point, everything just away.
And the ship
Yeah,
sinks.
just gone. And it's been happening for some time. I don't know if I should say this, but
Feel
I have
free.
dated about, if I'm not exaggerating, right from uni, level 100 up to now. I'm still in school. I have gone back to school. I mean, I'm done with my first degree. I'm doing another degree.
Okay.
So from that time up to now, I've dated about 15 guys.
Preach, sister.
And you know, when it happens, when I break up with one, I feel like, let me just enter into another one because I can't take it. Like I feel like I have been left behind. You know, I want to, so I'll push myself into another one. Anybody that comes my way.
So can I ask you?
Exactly, you know, someone come my way and then be like,
Okay.
if you just give me the little care.
So you feel like you can't be single?
That's
Or
the
you
problem.
shouldn't be
I
single.
shouldn't. That's the thing.
Ah,
Because let's say,
And then
wow.
the
I appreciate your person. Wow.
the very, not the very last, okay, the last but one. I mean, yeah. Because, yeah, currently I'm in one and I hope it ends well.
Amen.
But the one,
Shabba Doneo.
the last but one, you know, it didn't end well. And I was crying because I felt like, nah, this one
This one
shouldn't
was
be my
supposed to go
portion.
through.
You know, yeah. And all the time, I get older guys coming my way, you know.
Okay.
I get people like 10, 12 years older, like older than me coming my way. So this very one that I got, the last but one was just like a year or two older than me. So I felt, you know, I thought it would work, but it didn't. It didn't work. And then I started crying.
so apart from the crying, did you lock up yourself in rooms?
Let me finish. I wasn't reading my books. Like I wasn't learning when I'm
Affected your
supposed to.
education, eh?
Did you? were you able to
I'm doing
sleep?
my LLB, reading cases and all that. I wasn't. Like I felt I was just, you know. So
Were you able to sleep or you weren't?
I couldn't
you were
sleep.
oversleeping?
I couldn't sleep. I was
Did you
always
gain weight or
crying,
you lost
begging.
So would you?
So I told my mommy about it. I felt okay. I can't talk to anybody. I can only talk to my mother. I told her. She listened to me, and it felt like okay. She had heard me. I felt comfortable. Okay, it got to a time she felt I was acting like Mimboaje and all that. Then she started referring me like enter na unya boy, you know. You know, I felt like
Yeah, I wanted to ask you, do you think the problem is from you or from them?
No, let's
I
not go
don't
there.
know.
Oh, let's go. We have lawyer fair. Let's go there.
I don't know. Yeah, I'll answer you. I don't know if the problem is from me or it's from them, but I want to believe it's from me, and I'm actually working on myself. Okay. When it comes, I don't want to say I don't respect.
It might be the choices that you make, maybe. Maybe it's not necessarily the fact that you don't respect or your personality. Maybe it's the men that you choose. Have you thought of that?
We can't go.
It has to be
Let me come in.
No, but before we go on, we must appreciate the fact that when we started, like we talked about society and everything, and she has given us a very candid example.
Yes, for
Like,
your mom
first
to like,
hand.
and it's not the first because we have
So
mothers
please, that
referring
question,
you
I want
over
to know
things.
if that was depression or I was just feeling sad.
Okay, so let me clear this.
Yes.
So what?
Are you a clinical psychologist?
No, I'm not a clinical psychologist.
This
Let me
guy.
say this on air. I'm not a clinical psychologist.
No, but please help me
Okay,
out
so
there.
for one to go when you symptoms, let me first say the symptoms. So the symptoms of depression, what you the individual you will feel. You feel sad, you feel lack of interest, like you don't have interest to do anything. Some people lose appetite, some people will gain appetite. It's either way. Some people will lose weight, they'll realize they are losing weight. Some people will just gain weight. Some people, they'll have insomnia, they can't sleep. Like
I beg, let me say this. Let me just say this.
okay, you talk, I'll continue from
you
there.
continue.
I'll remind
Yes, reminder. I think depression, one thing we need to realize is that, number one, and this might be controversial, depression is okay. It's okay to feel like you are not achieving.
Oh, this one is not achievement. It's not an
No,
achievement.
but like as far as certain spheres in your life are concerned, as far as certain spheres,
That one is anxiety.
Let me land.
Anxiety is
let
okay.
me land.
Okay,
I beg,
land,
let me
land.
When you guys were talking, have you felt depressed before? Have you actually felt depressed to the point where you went off?
I felt depressed before.
And you went off.
me.
You went off.
As in,
Okay, sure.
off as in.
Yeah, madness.
Oh, no. Oh.
Okay.
No, you don't confuse psychosis.
No.
with
See, I
depression.
beg
Don't
you.
confuse-
These are my
Please, let's allow this.
these are my personal experiences.
Allow him
Please,
to talk.
you said you've been there.
I've
Okay.
also been there, since
All right.
you're asking.
So
Lori Faye.
it becomes like a virtual world. Okay. I personally, the reason why I said depression is okay is because after I went through that phase, it's like I unlocked a door. I unlocked a level up here. You see, it's spiritual levels. Some people are not able to come back.
Exactly why I wanted to tell you that it's not okay, but continue.
Some people are not able to come back. Now, if you realize that it is okay, you know that then you have to take steps in order to put yourself back on track. You don't wallow in the pain. You know that it is just a feeling. You are feeling something. It might not be true. Okay? It might not be true. It might just be you. Because sometimes, look, you are walking. When we get this a lot, self-consciousness. Women are walking. Women do it a lot. And then they are looking at themselves. Sometimes a person will ask you, how do I look? They are not sure of themselves. But then you see something else, like what you told me today about how I speak. You see, it's all vibes, different vibes. And different people have different vibes. So sometimes you have to separate the noise from the reality, from the real situation. Now, let me draw on my own experiences. What happened was that I went to school, okay, and I went to the boarding house. The psychologist actually diagnosed it as maladjustment because of the change in environment. But I knew what I was going through, okay. Now, what was happening was that I was left back. I thought there were grounds I had to cover as far as my education, my academics was concerned. I felt I wasn't getting enough done. So I went to school with my books. I was learning, like I was, and the learning too, it wasn't too and poor. Like trying to analyze things on the very fundamental and basic level. That was what I was doing. Unfortunately, it tipped me off. So now sometimes you'll be walking and then it's like you feel like the whole world is screaming at you. But they are not. So you're walking, Jeffrey laughs and you think he's laughing at you. Someone says something and you think that no, so it becomes like you feel like you are the center of the whole world's conversation. You understand? Post all that. I mean, I'm grateful it happened. And like I said, some people are not able to come back. So I feel I went and came back. It's true. It's true. And I've not been the same. Like, I'm grateful for the kind of person I am now. Jesus Christ. If I had a chance, I'll go through it over and over again.
Please, hold on.
No, but it's not to say those who are depressed should actually like go. Yes,
to make your personal experience.
I'm different.
When you were able to overcome it, like you were able to learn so much from it, and as you're saying, it made you a better person. But before we proceed, I want us to internalize the fact that you can't tell somebody who is depressed how to deal with their depression. You understand? If you feel like you have a way that you can help them with it, you do that. But you don't, like, maybe you listen to their story and then you feel like, but this is so trivial a thing that why should you wallow in this particular thing? Because of how he said he was able to go through, from what he said, if you really analyze it, it is something, he's saying it lightly because maybe he has been able to resurface and everything. But if you really think about it, it is like a point of no return. You understand? Because if there are some wires up here, you can say that Charlie switched a little. Some people, that's what I'm saying. You're saying self-confidence, right? So it definitely means that it varies. You understand? Do you know that sometimes
depression becomes mental?
Yeah, but do you know that sometimes
before it becomes mental illness, that is bad.
Yeah. Do you know that? See, do you know that sometimes, sometimes depression is even genetic.
Yes.
So somebody that has that genetic thing, like they don't even need to have a very serious experience or some pressure from somewhere, something very small, something that when you see it, you can easily trample over that thing. Like it will break them down totally.
The stress will depress you.
Charlie.
It will depress you.
He's saying something.
No, you finish.
Are you trying to say that I am making light?
No.
I'm just pointing out. No.
I just wanted to. I just wanted.
I'm just pointing out the fact that, like from a judgmental point of view, the way you look at somebody and they are going through something, and like the way you will talk about it, I feel like we should all get to know how sensitive an issue it is.
Sure.
Because you can easily say something because you've not been there. I really believe that if today you come across somebody who has experienced what you've experienced, you are in the best position to speak to the person about it, and you know the words to use and everything, not to topple the person.
Sometimes it's not an event that triggers it. The event might trigger it, but why it triggered it is because of a number of events that have taken place, a sequence of events. So the thing that may just trigger it for it to start to be something very little. I remember some weeks ago, I don't think I've been depressed before, but like some weeks ago, I went to church. On my way back, I was looking for my money, and my last 50 Ghana has disappeared. The 50 Ghana that I took to church, I didn't come back with it. If I used to pay tithe, like I know, all friends, but and when I came back home, I was like, why did this happen to me? It made me start thinking of, I'm somebody that doesn't think of my problems like that. I'm a happy guy. Like I sleep and wake up, my problems are some corner. Maybe they're even hidden. But when something small can happen, and if I'm thinking about that one thing, I start thinking about every other thing. And usually it doesn't last. After thinking, then maybe I'll go and watch series or something, and everything's gone. But this particular one, I started questioning my faith. And you somebody will be like, because of 50 Ghana.
Because you were even going to church.
Somebody will say, is it because of 50 Ghana that, but they don't know that other things have added from your past. So like, it's not an event. It's a series of events that leads to the grand events.
See, I was watching a series on Netflix, right? It's titled "I'm a Murderer," and I realized that like there was a pattern. Like they were all killers on death row. They were all killers on death row. But I realized that there's a pattern in their life, right? Most of them, when they were kids, they were abused, if maybe physically or sexually. You understand? So they grew up not having like that kind of fatherly or motherly love. You understand? So when it happens like that, they detach themselves from their emotions and their feelings. That's how come they can take a knife and stab you in the neck and they wouldn't feel jack. You understand? So such a person, you will stand there and judge the person and say, how can you do such a heinous thing? Like, why would you do this to your fellow human being? But if you should sit them down and you interview them and you backtrack on their life, you see that when they were so and so age, this happened, that happened, this happened. So it's all built up. And then now it has caused them to do such a thing.
Insomnia.
You have insomnia.
So some people will have difficulty sleeping. Some people, they can sleep all day and sleep.
So there's symptoms of depression.
Yes. And the signs, what you, the individual, will see is that, let's say if I'm depressed, what you realize is that maybe when I come, I'm everywhere. Hello, hi, I'm everywhere. But all of a sudden, I've drawn cold. Like, I'm easily angered. Like, something that is not supposed to irritate me, I'm just talking all over the place and all that. Some people, they become so emotional that when they are sitting down, they just start crying, or they have certain pattern of behaviors that you, the individual behind, will not necessarily understand why they're having such patterns of behavior. And you can't just look at that and diagnose the person of depression unless the person has showed that symptoms more than 5 times in a week and consistently for 2 weeks. That is where you can see this person is getting depressed. And that one. But unfortunately for us, our system, even the psychiatric hospital we have there, if you are depressed and you are going there crying, the depression crowd will come. Like, I don't know. You know, unlike other jurisdictions where you know that, when you are not feeling well, like when you feel like you're getting depressed, you can see a psychiatrist, you can see a counselor, like
I can even just call.
You
online.
can call or something. Our system, we don't have that. In fact, unless maybe I know one, then maybe you can trust me and tell me, I feel this, or I've realized, then I can say, okay, I'm recommending this. We don't even know the psychologists we have in Ghana. You can't easily assess one. And that is the major issue. So we have a lot of young people going through the phase of depression, not only depression, there are other mental health issues and all that, and they just don't know where to access the right information, where to access the help, what to do with themselves, and they just wallow in it. And unfortunately, our system will tell you that. I remember somebody telling me that, in Ghana, you can't get depressed. When Ejako, Lewen, all those people are doing their things, there is beef here and there. We have a lot of things to entertain you. Why will you get depressed? And I'm like, no, then don't say that, because when you go outside Ghana, they have a lot of shows. They cry, they can go and sit down. People will be playing with mud. They cry. So somebody like, you hit your head on the table, it's a competition. But then those people go through depression. You see a lot of depressed issues among them, and they seek for help. So we can't just say, because in Ghana we have a whole lot of funny things moving on, people don't get depressed. A lot of people have that deception. Recently, when Miss V came out that she went through a phase of depression, people were like, hey, madam, how can you go through depression?
Once you are dancing to the beat, bend down.
Like, people just didn't believe she went through that phase.
I want to say something.
No, see, he was making a point. I want him to make the point.
Charlie McDonald, big guy.
Because I think society, collectively, we are predators. Individually, we are preys. All of us. Let's say we are society. Like each of us, we make a society. As much as we don't talk about what we go through, merely you talk about what you go through, become a prey. We are all predators, but everyone is pretending. Everyone is quiet. Immediately you avail yourself, you become a prey. Now it's up to you to. That, me personally, I haven't been through depression before. I don't know whether one thing I do is I don't give two fucks about what you're thinking about me. Usually when you come to me, you're talking about something. Maybe you've seen something about me, and you are talking to me about it. First thing, I ask myself, does it concern you? The first question I ask myself, does it concern you? Secondly, if I like, or maybe I have a relationship with you, I'll think, maybe you like me, that's why you're telling me. So two things, if it's not worrying you, and I'm doing what I'm doing, whatever you tell me, I'll listen. First thing. The second thing too is that I think that, first of all, as a human being, if you think that everyone is supposed to be like you, first of all, you have mental problem.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, if you think that everyone should be like you, first of all, you have a mental problem. And then, come on, depression is real. Now, I don't think I would say I have one day that I was sad completely. It doesn't happen to me.
You see,
It doesn't happen to me.
growing up, we are talking about society. Growing up, like, we are, okay, would I say we are thrown into society? As in, like, when you get out of your house, you are facing society. You understand? Yeah. Growing up, you don't immediately start thinking that, oh, when I have a problem and say, okay, I know, like he said, let's say all of us say we are society. When I have a problem and I feel like I can't deal with it, I'll put it on board. So that was, maybe I'll get help. Like he said, Miss Bell came to say that she was, Miss V, sorry. Disclaimer. Like you said, Miss V came to say that she was depressed. I don't think she came to put it across so that she would be ridiculed. And maybe she was using social media as a coping mechanism. You understand? She was putting it across to maybe
Educate people, let people
exactly
know
one, maybe
there
educate
is
people
something
or
called
get some
depression.
sympathy. Maybe somebody might think that, yeah, social media is not the best place to go and get your sympathy, but you can also you should think about the fact that did she try other avenues or go to other people?
No, she
And
was done with the
Place
whole
to
phase.
address
Then
depression.
Also, everybody's saying what they want over there.
Yeah.
They asked her, you've been off the whole place for a while, and she was like, oh, it's nothing much. But then she was in a phase of she was going through depression, and you know bloggers will just pick
Exactly.
one line.
I quite remember
and
when we had,
just
I don't know
make
which
a-
VGMA it was, but Papi Kojo didn't get certain awards that he was expecting. And in retrospect, he said that he can recollect that he was depressed at that particular time. When he brought it on board,
Those things are based on voting.
when he, listen,
you don't vote for
you
him.
see,
Listen,
you do this thing.
Listen.
He readily dismisses the fact that certain things can make you depressed. I'm not for that. You are a different human being compared to.
Let's hear what he's saying then.
You're a different human being compared to everybody else.
There's a category for best rappers. You know you've done well. The whole year, you know you've done well. But now, they are buying votes. They are not buying votes. They chop the award. They can't go. What did they do? They buy votes. No. I mean, don't play the vote. Listen. At that moment, look, we take and say, at that moment, the person whoever chop Papi Kojo that award, if Papi Kojo alone hosts show, where that person alone hosts show, Papi Kojo for head inside, the things say go fear outside the person. That's the first question, though. And the first question, like Fancy Garden, right? The time you win over Medical,
Yeah.
that year inside, one, he play show for, how do you call him?
The Tamale there.
No, let me tell you, Accra.
Accra,
Play
Fancy
show,
Garden.
yeah, play show for National Theatre. He sell out the show. So if you not test your waters and your expectations, we are on expectations. Then
That's the thing. Not everybody
But
thinks like that. And
listen,
not everybody has a
listen.
society like yours.
Expectations. So you see, you're debunking the
Basically, what you're saying is that Papi Kojo doesn't have the right to feel.
no, he has the right. So he has the right.
Their
No,
word.
the same person, the other person too gets the right saying to the feel saying.
You see the way you came in, the way you came in and said society is full of predators. I feel like you're a predator.
You are predators.
No, I feel like you're a predator. Because he was saying that maybe Papi Kojo his confidence came down
He was
Charlie, this
depressed.
I was thinking I was thinking
Listen. That's why they talk in the category inside. Everybody the figure say he dey phone. You understand? Now be down to no be you again. Now you don't get some of the things you not get you not go feel control them. Now if it be radio shows then they talk play. Papi Kojo go fit talk. But right now they say make people vote. That thing not do your hands inside.
But he was expressing how he was feeling.
I know they talk say I know they talk say you know go fit go through depression. And they talk say some of the things they not do your hands inside.
So he had no grounds to be depressed.
No, he has the ground to be depressed.
No,
So what I'm saying.
So what are you hitting on? What are you hitting on? What's your point?
I want to
Make
ask
it
you
ask
only
me.
one thing.
Yeah.
You said you know they hands inside, right? If human being die, you dey want hands inside.
If human being die.
Yeah, like the death of a human being, you know they want hands inside, right? If you lose your parents right now,
No, they are inside.
like I'm not.
You don't expect to lose your parents and you lose your
And you lose your parents.
Will
You
you
know
say
they your hands inside though.
Will you say because
can I-
you know they your hands
Can I?
You shouldn't be depressed.
Everybody then the way they take them.
If
But listen. If your father, listen, I will give you the same scenario. If your father, they go hospital where they see your father always the sick. Because sometimes when a mother is not the fit talk say, because you dey tired. So your mind
You have a translation. He's saying like this person should just die and go.
like if the person is sick. No, listen. Go ahead.
But sometimes the suffering is both ways. The person is suffering, you are also suffering, but you want an end to your suffering. So the person is also free.
That's a different.
I get that side, but you're a predator though.
if
You're
I
a freaking
understand
crocodile.
what you are saying, you are saying that
Not be everything we get control over.
you and I think that is undisputable.
But the fact that we don't get control over everything does not warrant the fact that once that you don't have control
That
over
is not what
you shouldn't be
he's saying.
depressed.
That is not what he's saying.
Okay, then what is
He
he trying to
is
say?
just saying that using Papi Kojo's case as a case
If they
study.
go award inside, you know say win or lose. If they go play Champions League, you know say if you don't lose, you go win. So that thing right now it be
Depression.
listen. You dey go play football. Make we talk and say they go play football. Finals.
As you dey go play the football, you prepare. You do training.
Yeah, the other thing to not do. The other thing to
Exactly.
do.
Other people also train.
Listen, the other
You listen to him.
I've listened to him and I understand.
Listen,
Debunking what he's
listen.
saying in the sense that
Listen.
See, make I tell you,
Make it drop.
you know one thing we there inside. One thing for them is if you know work, you go. If you know work, you go do them again. That be the first thing for the head inside. You go do them again.
If you know what.
Work, you go do them again. You go do them until you go
it
work.
doesn't work, you will do it again.
What does that have to do with depression?
No, you just as well. But we have to tell you
Give me
say
scenario.
everybody, the word inside there.
Look at this
Everybody gets go, but you know we go reach on a go.
That's
But the thing to be say, it will be better past the way it did.
Yeah.
But it's not everybody that can accept
See,
that fact.
guys, listen. You see, wait.
Talk,
Let me
sorry,
zip
talk.
my mouth.
You see, aside talking about depression, you see, you have to read this. People have different ways of recommending solutions to a problem. Get what he's talking about. It's a recommendation. You don't have control over everything. What you think you have done, maybe someone has done it more than you. So, in that situation, it should be a default. Exactly, it should be a default.
It's either a win or lose. That's all he's trying to
So
do.
that's
When
all.
you
Let's
lose,
keep it there. Let's keep it there.
That's a recommendation.
It's a recommendation
Yes,
because
when you lose,
apart from this,
Yes,
Can't tell somebody
that's
don't be
a
depressed.
yes,
I understand.
Yes.
Nobody wants to be depressed. So you can't say
No. Okay.
please don't be depressed. Okay, thank you.
So what is your recommendation then? What's your recommendation?
My recommendation
Yes.
On depression.
on depression.
Based on what he said, you people are having an exchange, and I'm saying, what is your point?
No, but you see, it's clear now.
Yes, he wasn't
No, I want to
getting
get
it.
what he is saying.
Yes, now he gets it.
Initially,
Okay.
You want his
But now
and you
it's
also
clear,
say then we
right?
chop you up.
initially, right?
Uh-huh.
Initially, when I gave the scenario and he said what he said, I didn't get it as a recommendation.
Okay.
Because he's somebody that whenever he's like we are talking about these things, like I can tell that I don't know how to put it in better words, but I can tell that he has detached himself from his emotions and his feelings. Because the way he talks about certain things most of the time, like there's no sensitivity at all.
Isn't that personal?
That's so personal.
Yeah, it is personal, and I know him like that.
Oh,
You understand?
Okay.
You get what I'm saying? And I know him
Why
like
then
that.
were you surprised when he was making that point?
I wasn't
If you know
surprised.
him like that.
No, I wasn't surprised.
Because depression is a very sensitive.
Me, depression is a very
To me-
sensitive issue for me.
To me too, because I have also experienced
You
it. So when
understand?
someone is saying something like this, I'm like,
But I want to ask you, so what will take you go?
You see, I'm not a psychologist, and I'm
What
not.
to take you
I'm
go?
not
But he's
psychologist.
okay. What
For
took
me,
you
I
to your
cannot-
depression?
What
How
took
did
you
you
go-
deal with it then?
You see, for me, it happened during coronavirus, and it was a specific situation which puts me into that mental state because school, we didn't know what was going on. I didn't know what I was going to do with my life. I was just in lockdown, and I'm a very
I
active
know you better go
person.
through that too. Everybody.
I understand. But the thing is, this is my personal experience.
No be you, man.
This
See,
is my
see.
personal experience.
What is that? See, we are not be saying some people they go school. We are not go school. We are not go school.
No, listen now. Listen now. No, let's listen.
I think I get what he's saying.
We are the word on.
No, I get you.
I don't know what he went
See,
through.
what her decision and what happened to her was personal. No, see, listen. What happened to her?
That doesn't mean that
But
what the person is going through.
most of the things they make you they go through.
Let's
Most
not
of
go
the
there.
things where they make you they go through depression be comparison stereotypes. But in this case, we are not the go school. We are there.
No, but we all have different minds,
Oh.
and mine affects me.
They make some things the wrong way.
We have different minds.
No, see,
So maybe you were not
Listen.
depressed. Me, I was.
See, I feel where you're coming from, okay, but
You
also
understand, but the generalization.
I know they talk about depression.
But he's saying
some of the
sometimes the thing is
some of
not
the
there.
things- Some
Don't
of the
put
things,
it
but
there.
you know the creative. We know,
What
you
you are
see,
saying.
we are very problematic.
Yes, I know
Some
what
of us say, some of us say, something stuff no be case. Then you do am case.
No, but
Yeah, something no be case.
We are too emotional.
No,
Not the case for
no be case. No, something no be case. Something no be case.
guys, wait, get this. See something. Jeffrey, you should understand where it's coming from again. Listen, just listen, please, just listen. No, you too. Let me make my point. Self-aggrandizement or aggrandizement. Yes. So I know. I mean, it's a
Let's
mouthful.
go.
So the thing is, I'll use the army as an example. At certain times, they have to slap people to put them back on track. You don't know.
I know.
Exactly. Children, when they fuck up, sometimes you just have to slap them. Because, no, I'm not saying like, on a daily basis, but that's why I use the army. So, you know that in that situation, it's like a life and death. And there's nothing you can do to actually, so it has to be quick. You like switch them. No, you have to change motion. So that's what he's talking about. Many of the things we put the burdens on our heads. You should understand that some people just like attention. Seeking attention is different from being listen. Just
Let him finish.
Let's
Some people they feel. Listen, some people
No, I'm not
the way they do this.
downplaying. Look, listen to me. Don't you see it in relationships, or you've not seen it, or you've not read it anywhere that the lady actually just uses her emotions to keep the guy,
To blackmail the guy.
emotional blackmail.
I know that.
No, I know. I'm not saying all cases. Listen. There are statistics.
Yeah.
There are statistics. You're gonna have everyone doing that because they are
Emotional
depressed.
manipulation. I get that.
Yes. So if that is a legitimate opinion,
Yes.
why can't you accept it?
Why can't I accept that there's emotional
How are you
manipulation?
linking emotional manipulation to what he's
No,
saying?
no, no.
Can you
No. I'm not
please
linking it to
explain?
the thing here
Yeah,
is that we
linking it
need
to
to
depression.
separate other things from depression. There are some people who are genuinely depressed.
That's true.
Exactly.
That's
They are
true.
different from what.
That's true, but he's not in a
Okay,
position
see.
to tell me whether or not I was depressed.
Okay, no,
because
no,
he's
I
not
think no,
saying-
Listen, he was referring to you. He's making a general
I said-
statement that
wait, listen.
you shouldn't put certain things as a burden.
No, the fact that he said we are all not in school. So why are you depressed? That point, no.
I wasn't even done with my
personal.
story.
No,
but
it
he-
became personal.
I think what McDonald is saying is that he's saying that in certain situations, certain things happen that are not in our control, and we all agree with that. And then the thing is, some people know it is not in their control, yet it affects them.
But sometimes you can't control that. Do you understand?
It is not in your control,
Maybe my
obviously.
mental health is not that strong
That-
for me to be able to be affected or not
I've not
affected.
finished.
The way you do, you won't be the same. The way you do, you won't change.
no,
Now,
you see,
actually, bro, your
no,
mind
you
for
see, I'm not
listen.
saying I
Some of
don't
the
want to
things there.
change, Joe.
Listen, some of the
Listen.
things there. Your mind for the.
I'm not saying I
like
don't
your mind
want
for
to
the. No
change.
say. No, I don't get control over
I
that.
got
You understand?
out of that
See,
stage.
listen. If you go to like the way she
Me,
talk
I
about,
feel you.
you see the way like you dey talk
I don't feel
say
it.
some relationship no dey work. Most of the depression, some if they do something wey no dey work for you, if you continue, you see most of the drunkards wey we dey see, let me say they wan booze oh, then try something and one thing do the one thing 10 times. It no work. So then your mind they go down.
See,
But what if you understand me say, then get the people they talk say then get so like they start business where they work. What if I understand me say not be everybody where they feel hold business so not be everybody they feel hold business. Why not go look for somebody? You see everybody won't do like be creative for here this side. If they start business, listen at the chart up, if they start business, my business not the job. What if I understand me say not be everybody go fit start business? Why say no go look for somebody who go fit start business, then take your money, invest?
That's an option.
Yeah, but what me to try to understand me say, what me I understand about this whole context is say, you not be everything you are capable of.
And it's welcome.
You understand?
It's welcome.
Right now we are there here. Right now we are there here. I want to do something, but I know the work. I try 10 times, you know the work. What my man they do me say, first of all, they lose money. Secondly, time they go. Why I not go take my money, put something or somebody inside we go feel work.
Change them.
But you today they do some. So I talk say some of the things there. You they do like you don't want catch fish for here. You know they get fish. If you did that, the fish still no go come. The things they come, they can't catch the
see,
fish.
the film you are using to say this, and
Yeah.
there's some people, no, he is saying that, no, listen, he is saying that you should be hard enough to know that,
This thing no go catch.
no, listen to me.
Okay.
You should be hard enough to know that it's not everything you are capable of. When it gets to that point, you should know that, at this point there, I must step back or take this other path. You understand? And know that if you push those things into your head or get emotional about it, it will then alter how you feel. What you say, and then you will be thinking that you are depressed. You're not depressed. You are misdirected.
Agreed, but the
You are
thing is,
confusing yourself.
listen, we are not arguing with that.
No, when
we
somebody
express the whole
somebody
point.
tells
When
you
we
that
say
I've
something,
been
that is
through
my
A, B,
issue.
C, D because of A, B, C, D, F, and then you immediately say that no, everybody else is going through it.
Same thing.
You understand? Then you are playing
So
down.
what we want to understand is saying, listen, the whole world or nobody, listen, the whole world or nobody they go school.
I'm the
So
referee now.
listen, I ask you question. So yeah, I ask you question. Listen,
Say
I
the
ask
whole
you
world,
question.
nobody will go school. So then does that mean that everybody in the world must be depressed?
No, I ask you say no. I ask you say.
You can't say
what are you
something
depressed
like that.
about? Let me say that they don't let you. Let me say that they don't let you. Classes they go on where they go.
You see, listen.
Oh,
No,
what did they try to
even that story. No, that story said.
I mean, when a level of ambition
Listen,
and everything,
listen,
isn't
no.
it different? Are they like,
Some things are very personal. Some things are very personal.
okay.
That's also
Let's
because
put it like
I
this.
was saying
Somebody
that's happening in
there,
that
let's
if
period of time because I was at home.
It didn't disturb them. One day, if
I
somebody
mean, because when they learn, then they learn.
You
Then they learn when you
No,
don't learn.
but no,
But this time around, nobody they learn.
Let's
What the question that they ask you be say? The question that they ask you be say, what do they talk say? Somebody miss school. He miss school because they learn for him back.
It's-
This time around, nobody they learn. So what do they learn?
in middle school where them learn for him back going to Idebia.
I don't want to even choice.
Madonna,
You have choice.
This was about the person.
This
you
issue where,
understand?
like, she was narrating her issue, what was
Exactly,
personal to
and
her.
also the thing is,
So-
I'm a very academic person, and when I can't go to
Yeah.
school or I can't work, that is the end of my
So
life.
it
That is how
matter-
I
it
am.
matter be
Do you
different.
understand?
But you know say,
But his
you know say-
solution to that will maybe instead of thinking
But what
of
he said, it wouldn't have
no,
helped
I'm coming.
me. It wouldn't have helped
Please,
Listen to me.
listen to me.
Listen, you don't need 6 class before you go feel learning. You understand?
You see, people-
Some of them then give you book.
Okay,
Listen, then give you full book.
That environment.
Listen, I want to say something.
Let me say
Listen,
We have to as well. So
no problem. So they mean say what she dey talk right now. So she dey mean say if she you say she for the academic setting fine. So they mean say if you left class where you come out, you know they learn.
no, let me. You see what you said. You said you are very.
Cause that's
No, let's drop this. You said you are very academic.
Yes,
but
as a
let me
person.
put it in a more emotionally touching manner. He said instead of you thinking about like how academically deprived you are at that point, you see that energy you have for academics, channel it to something different and know that the whole academics will come back.
You see, that's
So
what
for
I
now,
wanted
do
to
this.
But I had lost interest for everything. It's not as simple as just telling me that, oh, you know, for now, you just do this. It's not that simple. It's like you are lost in your mind. That's how I felt. And that is why I said, I felt like I was depressed.
Wait. You see what you just mentioned?
Listen.
Somebody who has already gone into the state of
All right,
depression.
it's okay.
Understand?
It's okay.
It will be important to hear what actually helped you.
I don't want to talk about it.
Okay, at this point,
Maybe you can't realize say nothing go fit do about them. So you enter depression will come out. Even true. Maybe you can't realize still. Yes. So do it be true. Wait. What to make you come out? Because the actual fact you say you don't get control over them. You make the parents say so and so.
So do we agree? Do we now agree that society is part of?
Yeah, man.
Yes.
We agree on that.
Yeah.
Okay, but this is the personal thing. So for now, let's leave this bracket,
Yes.
and I'm stepping back. I don't know if you are stepping back with me. So
society is a major contributor to depression, apart from any other thing. Societal pressure is mad, is crazy, and I mean, we put it upon ourselves because we are part of the society, and the only way that we can get it out is to come together as a society again and get out
groups.
and change the narrative. Because that it is what it is.
It's real.
So everybody
We
needs to
can agree
listening
on
here
that.
from time to time.
Yeah.
And also, I think you say what you feel at the point you feel it.
Yes.
What I say. You don't keep it. If this guy,
Not just to everybody.
Yes. It's not
that's the
easy.
problem here too. You, it's okay.
You go fit tell somebody the person still will use them against you. So what
When I
you get?
say not just to everybody, we all get you get somebody where you
I don't get anybody.
I don't get anybody.
I don't get anybody.
I get somebody where I know say this person they understand me.
Yes, me too. I have someone like that. And by the way, that's the person
So
who
you don't
helped
get
me.
anybody like that. So you forget somebody that I
Because
really
you want
like.
to.
I don't need to say.
You don't need.
Yeah, I don't need.
Listen, he has Jesus. He has Jesus.
What are the child? What are the
How
child
do
talk
you
me say?
know? Maybe
Me,
it's not
what, the
religious.
way I dey understand thing is say some of the things say when you not get control over me, where it will make you put like it will make you fall into depression. You know your realization your mind will come back say hey you don't get anything to do about time, so you not go pull yourself.
Okay.
No. You see,
So.
once
Ah, they lie. If you really listen, if you really
not easy say you now will pull yourself out of depression.
listen,
You've never been there before, bro.
Yeah,
listen,
saying.
You've never been there
you see
before.
her, you see her. As she dey talk say she not go class. I mean, I would like know how she pull herself. You know, go can't understand say hey, you not go fit do
She
anything.
said someone.
Someone helped me. It wasn't
So-
just me.
2 minutes more.
So as we've said, society puts a pressure on us, and we may end up in depression. But then, when you realize that you are going through a phase of depression based on the symptoms and the signs we discussed, seek help. Speak up. Just seek help. You can seek help from somebody close. You can book a psychologist if you know of one and all that. And you just have to seek help. And also try as much as possible to engage yourself in certain activities to distract
You
you.
must chop life.
And also, we must not stigmatize people.
Yes.
Thank
You must
you.
not tell them that your pain. Like, you must not measure people's pain for them.
Oh.
That's my bottom line.
you are talking
Just
to
listen. If you have help to give to the person, or
Just
you
do
can direct the person in a way to
What
get
you
help.
If you
true,
can-
but some of the things they says not be back. Some of the things they says
Know who you talk to. Yes, know who you talk to, because
And how you talk to them.
me like this. If I have a problem, I don't talk to anybody because I know, like you it's not like you are bad, but you can't solve my problem for me. So if I want to talk to someone, I'll look for someone who can solve my problem. So talk to a psychiatrist or psychologist, whatever, and
Learn how to enjoy yourself.
and I mean, if you love Jesus Christ, you pray.
Yes.
Basically, pray about it. Talk to.
Non-pharmacological therapy. You pray.
Enjoy yourself.
Yeah,
I'm glad. Me personally, I think say no be everything we for make him take it through depression.
That one,
Some of the things they don't need.
Okay.
I don't need.
that one, but I mean, sometimes you
Okay,
just
Jeffrey. Okay, thank you so much. Thank you all for your time. In conclusion,
Yes.
we want to say that depression is real.
Very
It
real.
is real. So then, like she said, if you have any problem, if you are going through something at a particular time, make sure you talk to someone and then you seek for help generally, and then basically you'll be fine.
I think we all agree on that.